The core of this story literally takes your heart, snatches it, rips it to shreds. Today we are talking about Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. Now, of all of the romance writers out there, and I don't even know if you would consider Colleen exclusively a romance writer. She seems to have a little bit more dimension to her stories, but that's what I have to credit Colleen for, is her originality. All of her storylines are incredibly unique. I've never read them before. It doesn't seem like a recycled storyline. You know, sometimes romance novels, it sort of feels like, oh, there's 5 storylines on the market, and you just pick one, plug and play, change out the names, you've got a story, right? Colleen definitely brings some new, fresh ideas and concepts and storylines to the romance genre. So I definitely have to credit her for that originality and that imagination. I always am intrigued by Colleen's work. And in the case of Ugly Love, I actually feel like there are a lot of people that dislike this book. I feel like there are a lot of differing opinions, a lot of like a broad spectrum of opinions about this book. Personally, I actually really like it. I actually really like Ugly Love. I'm not going to talk too much about Tate today because literally we pretty much understand who Tate is the moment we open the book, right? She's an ambitious girl, she's a nurse, she's going to classes in order to get her CRNA, and she moves in with her brother. Great, like, there she is. She's not a mystery. She's not like, oh man, like what's Tate? Who's Tate? What's happening with Tate, right? Like she just lays it out like this is what's going on, right? You know exactly who Tate is the moment you start reading the book. Miles, on the other hand, this boy is confusing, okay? This boy is like, the moment he opens his mouth, I'm like, what is even happening here? I mean, yes, his whole, oh, I'm tortured and unlovable bit, I mean, it gets really old, and it gets especially annoying after he uses Tate for the umpteenth time, but I mean, he is pretty darn good at being tortured and unlovable. I will give him that. Here's the thing though, despite that whole bit, despite the using Tate, despite all of it, I like Miles. I mean, I like the name Miles, but I actually really like the character Miles. He doesn't come across as one of those sadistic people, okay? It's not like, oh, I'm tortured and so I want to hurt people. No, he's tortured and so he's deprived himself. He's deprived himself of love. He's deprived himself of affection and of relationship and of connection. He's deprived himself because he feels like, you know, oh, I'm not deserving of it. I don't deserve it. I'm guilty, okay? And when you actually learn why he's so tortured, I mean, I don't know. Like, I get it. I understand why he's so tortured. What he went through, I mean, I feel like I would be under that same exact weight, you know? No, he should not have been using Tate. I do not think that, like, oh, this gives him a pass for being a complete and utter jerk to Tate, right? And being completely disrespectful and humiliating her on more than one occasion. I mean, with that kind of, like, jerkwad move, I'm sorry, I wouldn't give the boy a second chance. But I also understand. I also completely understand his perspective. I understand. It's like, I don't approve, but I understand, right? One of those sort of situations where it's like, I don't like what you're doing, but I totally get why you're doing it. It's one of those things. The loss, the repercussions, the consequences, the blame, shame, and guilt that he suffers after this loss. I mean, folks, let's talk about a mental labyrinth. He is suffering. He is suffering, and he's been suffering for 6 years, right? All I'm saying is that I have never had and then lost a child, but I feel like the grief and the guilt and the hurt and the pain that Miles displays, I feel like all of that was very plausible. I feel like all of that was like somewhat realistic, right? Just the pain, you know, I mean, you've heard it said, parents are never supposed to lose the child. I mean, that is something where it's like, that is pain, okay? That is pain. And so I find his grief and his response and his feelings rather plausible, especially since, I mean, he's blaming himself, but his girlfriend is blaming him, and it is sort of his fault, okay? It is sort of his fault what happened. And so there are so many things, there are so many emotions, right? It's like, yes, I in fact did this. This was the choice that I made, and I blame myself, and my ex-girlfriend blames me. And so everything here, he genuinely believes that he deserves the depriving himself of love, and he feels like he deserves to be and feel tortured. Now, the relationship, okay? Like, we cannot talk about this book and not talk about the relationship. I hated the relationship, okay? Obviously, who likes this relationship? This is a terrible relationship. Like, if there's any relationship at all. Yes, obviously, there are definitely no strings attached sexual relationships out there in the world. We all know this. This isn't new. That's a thing, right? That's a thing. Personally, I don't think you can sleep with someone or have sex with someone and not be emotionally attached in some capacity. I mean, it's always said where it's like, well, when you have that connection, like, you are giving a piece of yourself away every single time. And so it is impossible to not have an emotional connection. I mean, that's literally what sex is all about, is connection. Their relationship is 100% toxic. And it's not just because, we're denying the feelings that we have for each other and we're just hurting each other so much. Like, no, that's not what it is. Number one, we have Tate here. And Tate is trying to keep Miles. She's trying to retain Miles. She's trying to keep him attached, right? She's trying to make sure that he does not leave her life. And so she's literally giving herself to him physically so that way he does not leave. Now, I feel like that right there, two-way street, right, is where she's got it in her head, I can't let him leave. And so she's making the choice to give herself to him, and he's not attaching, right? And yes, she is lying to him the entire time, which is cruel. Listen, here's the thing about men, okay? You gotta spell it out for him. Okay? So Tate, she was literally spelling out a lie for him, okay? Squarely to Miles' face. She's saying, yes, this is fine. I can have this relationship. I can have a relationship that looks like this. She flat out tells him over and over and over again, yes, this is fine. Yes, this is fine. I mean, they both know that she's lying, right? They both know that she's lying, but she says yes. Okay, she says yes, not no. So obviously, Miles is like, okay, well, like, she's saying yes, right? Obviously, he is, yes, using her, which is wrong, and he knows it's wrong. They both know it's wrong, but, right, it's just this bundle of lies and manipulation, and, I mean, that's what it is. And lying to themselves, lying to each other, manipulating each other, all of this stuff in order to keep each other entwined in life, and it's 100% toxic. It is 100% toxic. I feel like you're foggy. Is that better? That might be better. So we have Miles here. He's using Tate the entire time. I mean, I do have to wonder, was he pretending that Tate was Rachel the entire time? I have to ask the question. I mean, that's not good. Just saying. I have reason to believe that wasn't the case, but I mean, like, they do, fall in love and all that kind of stuff. But after that final scene, right? Like, well, not the final scene, but like the breakup scene. I have to ask myself if he was pretending that Tate was Rachel the entire relationship, which, I mean, that is the ultimate I am using you, right? That is the ultimate I am using you, especially since Tate's like, well, I'm having feelings for this guy, and he obviously has feelings for me, but is he just having feelings for me because he's acting like I'm Rachel, right? Like, oh, right? Like, red flag, right? But I still like Miles. And I do like Tate. I feel like it's one of those situations where it's like, y'all just sort of, you need to work on yourselves before you're getting into this relationship, honestly. So, I mean, I do have to wonder. I had to ask the question. I had to bring that up because I feel like it is a possibility. That Miles is over here pretending that Tate is Rachel. Obviously, we don't see Miles's perspective for the entire relationship he has with Tate, so we don't know. That's sort of the point. But I have to ask myself. Now, I do have to say, this was something that did kind of bother me about the book, and it is that it never feels like we make progress. Obviously, through throughout the book, we are marching through Miles's backstory. We are discovering what happened in Miles's past, right? That's what we're discovering. We're sort of walking through that, and we're working towards understanding what happened to Miles. Why is Miles this way, right? Because the young Miles that we're reading about and that we're reading the perspective from, he seems like fantastic, okay? Like, he seems like, wow, you are just this great guy, and you're just super nice, and you're super like easygoing and easy to be around and a wonderful person, right? And that's a far cry from what we see interacting with Tate. Overall though, within the duration of him and Tate's relationship, nothing happens. Literally nothing happens. Did you notice that? Nothing happens, okay? I mean, it's quite literally just a series of hookups. It is just a series of hookups. There are cute moments. There are like, oh, these little nice scenes and stuff like that. But the story does not progress. There is no progression. There is no, oh, we've made progress here and we're sort of moving forward. No, it literally feels like this happens, like boom, it happens. That's what it feels like. I mean, this is the story. Miles is gone. Tate misses Miles. Tate just gets back from work. Miles is back. They hook up. They part ways. They're like, Tate's like super heartbroken about it, and so she goes and talks to Cap. That is literally the entirety of the story, okay? Every single chapter where Tate is the speaker, where Tate, it's from Tate's perspective, that is precisely what happens, okay? That is precisely what happens. She's getting home from work. Oh, hey, Miles is there. They hook up, and then she goes and talks to Cap. So it doesn't make any progress. There's never this moment where it's like, oh, we've reached someplace, right? It is literally chapters and chapters of just the same thing over and over again. There's no added texture in the story between them. There's very little, there's a little bit of it, but very little like personality and conversation and relationship building, which obviously that is sort of the point, is that Miles doesn't want a relationship. Miles doesn't want the connection. But I have to ask myself, I'm like, what is Tate really falling in love with then? No doubt Miles is a great guy, but what is Tate actually falling in love with if there's no conversation? I talked about this in my video about Thoughtless by S.C. Stevens, and how so much of how that story felt real was the fact that, Kira and Kellen are like having these discussions, and they're talking and they're joking, and like they're friends, they're buddies, they're pals. They've built this relationship that goes deeper than just attraction. It's like we're friends, right? We are having a conversation. We're actually building relationship. We're building a connection. I don't feel that with Tate and Miles. There's not really a like moment or an relationship that I'm like, oh yeah, like that's a good relationship. All I see is a series of hookups. And so it really does confuse me what Tate is exactly falling in love with, because Miles is a closed book. And so it's like, is she just falling in love with the mystery of him? Is she just like, is this just carnal? Is this just, right? Like what is this, right? What is she falling in love with? Because I'm going to be honest, like I love Miles, but if I were in Tate's position, I'd be like, okay, but like he doesn't say anything, right? Like I don't know him. I don't know who this guy is. And I'm also going to say it, this whole Dylan thing, like the neighbor, whatever, right? Like that was pretty, like I feel like that would have been a great way to like add some texture, to sort of like add some like, oh, like here, we're going to add a little bit of texture and a little bit of something happening and going down, right? Like I felt like that could have been something that like we could have dove into, right? I mean, because here's the thing. Dylan is a class A prickhole who's apparently obsessed with Tate. And I mean, he's got one little small baby encounter with Miles and Corbin, and then he's like, okay, like peace out, right? Like he doesn't come back. In my experience, class A prickholes, they always come back, right? Like, and so with Dylan, I felt like, okay, we could have gone down that path, and we could have gone down that path of like, he's obsessed with Tate in some capacity. He's like, right? I felt like we could have dug into that, and then like, oh, like Miles does something and Dylan does something and all this stuff and yada, 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 and bada bing, bada boom, we have some big discovery, right? I felt like that could have been utilized in some fashion, but instead it was just like over in the super anticlimactic way. So that like, sad. So we naturally, obviously, we come to an ending, obviously. I actually liked the ending. I actually really did like the ending of this book. I would have liked more, and I would have liked more depth, but overall I really did like the ending. I liked how it concluded. I really liked the closure that Miles got from Rachel. I feel like that was the only way that was going to happen. That was the only way that there was going to be any closure happening, is if he went and he talked to Rachel, right? Because that boy was struggling, okay? And you could tell that all of it was this shame and guilt towards Rachel. Obviously, he was so, right, like, he loved his child, but so much of the guilt, so much of the shame was put on him because of how Rachel responded. And so with that, I really liked the fact that it was like he was able to go to her. He was able to talk to her, and they were able to talk in a mature fashion, right? They'd grown up. They were able to talk about it. And, you know, he was able to gain that closure. She was able to give him that closure, and sort of they were able to let that go. The resolution between Tate and Miles. I would have liked it if Tate made him walk the line a little more. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, girl, he humiliated you multiple occasions. No. If I were one of her friends, I would have said, this is what I would have said. I'd have been like, good for you. He is a good guy, but you better make him toe the line, okay? Like, he better toe the frickin' line, okay? I would have loved to have a little bit more of like, oh no, Miles, like, you have to chase her. And like, you have to woo her. You have to pursue her. You have to, like, none of this like, oh, Miles, I'm so glad you actually love me. Like, no. No, honey. No. I don't know, perhaps like maybe he should have worked on making up for the multiple times he completely shredded her dignity. Like that, I would have appreciated that. I would have liked to have seen that, right? Also, if I were one of Tate's friends, I probably would have gone and like had a really hardcore discussion with him. I'm really not afraid of scaring fellas. I do it quite well, as a matter of fact. So yeah, overall, I did like the story. I do like Tate and Miles. I just felt like there could have been more depth, and there could have been more texture, and there could have been more actual pursuit and more relationship in order for me to gain that connection. I felt like the connection to the story was lacking. Here's something I did like about Tate. Just because I feel like this is a pretty common occurrence in romance stories, and I'm glad that it wasn't an occurrence here. Tate doesn't have this posse of girls like psyching her up and, you know, like, oh man, Tate, like, you're just so awesome, and like, you know, empowerment posse. I don't know, the empowerment posses just wear me out. I'm always just like, ladies, shut up. There is not a girl in the world that talks to her friends like this. Tate doesn't need that, right? Tate is empowered herself. Tate is strong herself. She's a very strong personality herself. She's not cruel, but she's a strong personality herself. And I really like that it's like she's one of the guys, right? She's hanging out with the guys. She's surrounded by a bunch of guys. She's friends with a bunch of guys here. And while she is one of the guys are still taking care of her, right? The guys are making sure she's okay. She could take care of herself, but they're taking care of her. And like, there's just this, right? Like, there's this nice relationship with her and the guys. I liked that a lot because, yeah, like the moment there comes like this super confident friend in the picture, I'm always just like, girl, shut up. Shut up. I'm curious though. I'm very curious though. What are your thoughts on Ugly Love? What are your thoughts? I feel like, once again, Ugly Love definitely stirred up a lot of like differing opinions, a wide range of opinions, like lots of extremes, lots of strong feelings. So where are you on the spectrum? I would be very curious, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, if there are any other romance novels or romance writers that you would recommend, let me know, because I am always on the hunt for a new writer, always on the hunt for a new book. And yeah, I have tons in the queue already that I'm planning on doing, but I would love to hear what you are reading and what you would like to hear about. So yes, that is all I have for you today. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next video. So long.